This is a breaking news special report. I'm Amelia Scott with the Reality Brief, and we are covering a historic military development that has not occurred since World War II. A United States Navy submarine has torpedoed and sunk an Iranian warship in international waters off the coast of Sri Lanka, killing at least 87 Iranian sailors in what the Pentagon is calling a quiet death. This marks the first time an American submarine has sunk an enemy vessel with a torpedo since 1945, over 80 years ago. The Iranian frigate IRIS Dena, carrying 180 crew members, issued a distress call at dawn after being struck by a Mark 48 heavyweight torpedo. The vessel sank approximately 40 nautical miles south of Galle, Sri Lanka. Sri Lankan rescue teams recovered 32 critically wounded survivors, but 87 bodies have been confirmed dead, and 61 sailors remain missing in the Indian Ocean. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth confirmed the strike at a Pentagon briefing just hours ago, stating, "An American submarine sunk an Iranian warship that thought it was safe in international waters. Instead, it was sunk by a torpedo. Quiet death." This is day 5 of the Iran-Israel war, and the death toll has now surpassed 1,045 people across multiple nations. Let me break down what's happened in the past 24 hours. The human cost of this conflict is mounting at a devastating pace. According to verified reports from Al Jazeera, CNN, and the Iranian Red Crescent Society, here are the current casualty figures. In Iran, at least 800 people confirmed dead from 5 days of relentless U.S.-Israeli airstrikes. The Tasnim news agency reports the death toll now stands at 1,045 when including all combat zones. Tehran, Qom, Isfahan, and Karaj continue to be bombarded in what Israeli officials are calling the 10th wave of attacks. In Lebanon, 74 people killed and 437 wounded since Israeli strikes began on Monday. Israel's ground invasion of southern Lebanon has triggered mass evacuations, and Hezbollah has responded with rocket attacks on northern Israel. In Israel, 11 people killed from Iranian retaliatory missile and drone strikes, with most casualties occurring in Beit Shemesh. U.S. forces' 6 American service members have been killed. The Pentagon has identified 4 soldiers killed during an Iranian strike on a military facility in Kuwait. Gulf states, at least 9 people killed across Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia from Iranian retaliatory strikes. Kuwait reported the death of a young girl from shrapnel injuries on Wednesday. IRIS Dena sinking, 87. Iranian sailors confirmed dead from the submarine torpedo attack, with 61 still missing in the Indian Ocean. That's over 1,045 people dead in just 5 days. Hospitals in Tehran and Beirut report being completely overwhelmed. The humanitarian crisis is spiraling out of control. The Pentagon made an extraordinary claim at today's briefing. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth stated that Iran's Navy is now combat ineffective, decimated, destroyed, defeated. According to Chairman of the Joint Chiefs General Dan Kane, the United States has destroyed more than 20 Iranian naval vessels in just 5 days, including the frigate IRIS Dena, sunk by submarine torpedo, Iran's most operational submarine, now with a hole in its side, the IRGC corvette Shahid Sayed Shirazi, a vessel of significant tactical importance, multiple patrol boats, and fast attack craft. General Kane stated, "There is not a single Iranian ship underway in the Arabian Gulf, Strait of Hormuz, or Gulf of Oman, and we will not stop." CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper was even more blunt, stating the U.S. goal is sinking the Iranian Navy, the entire Navy. The video footage released by the Pentagon shows the IRIS Dena being struck by the Mark 48 torpedo beneath its stern, lifting the entire vessel out of the water before it broke apart and sank. This type of torpedo carries a 650-pound warhead designed to buckle and break a ship's hull. Hegseth also announced that U.S. forces will achieve complete control of Iranian airspace within days. He stated, "The 2 most powerful air forces in the world will have complete control of Iranian skies, uncontested airspace. It means we will fly all day, all night." The Pentagon reports that Iran's missile launch capabilities have dropped by 86%, and drone strikes have decreased by 73% since the first day of the conflict. This suggests Iran's arsenal is being rapidly depleted. In a development that signals dangerous expansion of this conflict, NATO forces have directly engaged Iranian weapons for the first time. Turkish officials confirmed that NATO air defense systems shot down an Iranian missile that was traveling toward Turkish airspace on Wednesday. This is the first time NATO member countries have intercepted an Iranian missile since the conflict began. Turkey's presidency stated that the missile was successfully destroyed before entering Turkish airspace, though debris caused minor damage to rural areas near the Syrian border. This represents a significant escalation. NATO, a defensive alliance of 31 countries including the United States, has now been drawn into defensive operations against Iran. Additionally, European nations are reinforcing. Cyprus, Italy, France, Germany, Greece, and the United Kingdom are deploying naval assets to protect the island, which sits just 100 miles from the Lebanese coast. Italy is specifically considering deploying the destroyer Caio Duilio with air defense capabilities extending 350 kilometers. The U.S. State Department has issued warnings against travel to Cyprus due to risks of a possible Iranian incursion. This geographic expansion of the conflict, from the Persian Gulf to the Indian Ocean to now potentially the Eastern Mediterranean, shows how quickly this war is engulfing multiple regions. The Lebanese Ministry of Public Health confirmed on Wednesday that Israeli attacks have killed 74 people and wounded 437 since Monday when Israel launched its ground invasion. Israel continues to strike Hezbollah targets across Lebanon. Israeli forces issued evacuation orders for more than 80 villages and towns in southern Lebanon, triggering mass displacement. Tens of thousands of Lebanese families have fled north toward Beirut and Sidon. Hezbollah claims it clashed with Israeli forces attempting to advance in the town of Qiyam and launched rocket barrages at Israeli troop concentrations in Kiryat Shmona. The group declared that it attacked in revenge for the killing of Supreme Leader Khamenei. Israel's Defense Minister Israel Katz declared Hezbollah leader Naim Qassem a target for elimination, stating, "We will send Qassem to the depths of hell like Khamenei." The Lebanese government officially banned Hezbollah's military activities on Monday and demanded the group hand over its weapons to the Lebanese state. However, Hezbollah has completely ignored these orders and continues military operations. The humanitarian situation in Lebanon is deteriorating rapidly. Hospitals are overwhelmed. Aid organizations cannot reach affected areas due to active combat. Winter conditions are making displacement even more dangerous for families fleeing the fighting. Inside Iran, the government is struggling to project stability. In a significant blow to regime legitimacy, Iranian state media announced on Wednesday that the mourning ceremony for Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has been postponed indefinitely. The funeral was set to begin Wednesday evening with 3 days of national mourning. Its cancellation suggests the Iranian government fears the ceremony could become a target for further strikes or potentially trigger anti-government demonstrations. Israel has explicitly warned that any new supreme leader would be an unequivocal target for elimination. Senior Iranian officials have been meeting virtually to select a new supreme leader. According to multiple reports, Mojtaba Khamenei, the son of the killed supreme leader, is among a small handful of clerics tipped as likely successors. However, the succession process is uncertain. Iran's Assembly of Experts, the body responsible for choosing the supreme leader, was bombed by Israel while they were meeting. Israel specifically targeted this gathering in an attempt to prevent any orderly transition of power. President Trump stated that eliminating a large amount of leadership in Iran was a key objective. The strategy appears designed to create chaos and potentially trigger regime collapse. The Iranian government is attempting to maintain an image of control, but the postponed funeral, the bombed Assembly of Experts, and ongoing airstrikes all suggest the regime is under enormous stress. So what happens next? Based on today's Pentagon briefing, the answer is more escalation. Defense Secretary Hegseth outlined 3 primary objectives: obliterate Iran's missile and drone facilities, targeting production and launch sites across the country; annihilate Iran's Navy, complete destruction of all naval assets, which is well underway; sever their pathway to nuclear weapons, striking nuclear facilities to prevent weapons development. Hegseth stated that over the next 24 to 48 hours, CENTCOM will continue striking infrastructure and naval capabilities. He emphasized that with complete control of Iranian skies, U.S. and Israeli forces will use 500-pound, 1,000-pound, and 2,000-pound laser-guided precision bombs, of which we have a nearly unlimited stockpile. General Kane added, "We've hit over 2,000 total targets across Iran. We'll continue to assess our progress against the military objectives." President Trump reiterated that operations will continue until all objectives are met. When asked about regime change, Trump suggested someone from within the current Iranian government might be the best choice to take power once the war concludes. However, this raises critical questions. If the goal is someone from within taking power, why is the U.S. systematically eliminating Iran's entire leadership structure? The strategy appears contradictory. Domestically in the United States, political opposition is intensifying. The Senate is scheduled to vote on the War Powers Act to determine whether Trump has legal authorization for these operations. Democratic lawmakers are warning that the U.S. could be drawn into a prolonged ground war. As we close this report, here are the critical takeaways from Day 5. A U.S. Navy submarine has made history by torpedoing and sinking the Iranian frigate IRIS Dena, killing 87 sailors in the first American submarine torpedo kill since World War II. The death toll from this conflict has surpassed 1,045 people across Iran, Lebanon, Israel, and Gulf nations. The Pentagon declares Iran's Navy decimated with over 20 ships destroyed and claims it will achieve complete control of Iranian airspace within days. NATO has entered the conflict defensively, intercepting an Iranian missile headed toward Turkey for the first time in history. Lebanon's death toll has reached 74, with 437 wounded as Israel's ground invasion expands. Iran's supreme leader funeral has been canceled amid succession crisis and fears of instability. The Pentagon warns the hardest strikes are yet to come, with plans to continue operations for at least the next 24 to 48 hours. This conflict shows no signs of de-escalation. The geographic scope continues expanding from the Persian Gulf to the Indian Ocean to potentially the Mediterranean. The human toll continues mounting, and the risks of wider regional war remain extremely high. I'm Amelia Scott with the Reality Brief. We'll continue monitoring this crisis and bringing you verified updates. Stay informed, and we'll see you in our next report.